Pawn e2 to e4. Pawn e7 to e6. Pawn d2 to d4. Pawn d7 to d5. Knight b1 to d2. Pawn c7 to c5. Pawn e4 takes d5. Pawn e6 takes d5. Bishop f1 to b5, check. Bishop c8 to d7. Bishop b5 takes d7, check. Knight b8 takes d7. Queen d1 to e2, check. Knight g8 to e7. Knight g1 to f3. Pawn b7 to b6. Castle kingside. Pawn f7 to f5. Knight f3 to e5. Pawn c5 takes d4. Queen e2 to h5, check. Pawn g7 to g6. Queen h5 to e2. Bishop f8 to h6. Knight e5 to c6. Pawn d4 to d3. Pawn c2 takes d3. Bishop h6 takes d2. Knight c6 takes d8. Bishop d2 takes c1. Rook a1 takes c1. Rook a8 takes d8. Rook c1 to c7. Pawn a7 to a6. Rook f1 to c1. Pawn f5 to f4. Queen e2 to e6. Pawn d5 to d4. Rook c1 to c4. Pawn f4 to f3. Rook c4 takes d4. Knight d7 to c5. Queen e6 takes e7, checkmate.